Hi, I'm Karen Sawyer Kingsbury. I'm professor of Humanities and Asian Studies at Chatham University. I'm now starting my 14th year here. Previously, I taught for 14 years at Donghai University in Taiwan. So I'm really approaching the question of Asian studies from some experiences on both sides of the globe. So why is Asian studies and more broadly AAPI studies, why are these topics so important for students in the US today? I can see that we are living in an unavoidably globalized stage of human history in which many processes run right across political borders. That's why we see human migration and environmental change, as well as economic and media channels sweeping around the world. So in this context, I think it's urgently important for American college students to improve their understanding of Asia and AAPI communities here in the US for these, I'd say, three big reasons. First, the largest problems facing humanity today cannot be solved without some degree of cooperation between the US and Asian countries. We are not walled off. We are not oceaned off from each other. We are sharing a planet together. Secondly, in the US context, AAPI history and culture is vitally important and yet under-recognized as a part of American history and identity. Thirdly, both Asian studies and AAPI studies are generally undertaught in our high schools. So college offers a crucial opportunity to prepare students for the reality of a world in which Asians and Asian Pacific Islander Americans are playing hugely important roles. Aside from all these kind of high pressure reasons, I can also say that the American students I've taught genuinely enjoy and embrace learning about Asian and AAPI topics, just as the Taiwanese students that I used to teach in Taiwan are curious about other countries and cultures, including the US. College is a terrifically important and exciting time for deepening one's understanding of oneself by digging into under-recognized histories and opening out to a wider, larger sense of our political, cultural, and environmental world. ASIANetwork has been an invaluable resource for me because it puts me in contact with a nationwide community of teacher scholars working in schools like my own who also share these basic beliefs about the importance of increasing American students' understanding of Asian and AAPI history and culture. Because we share these beliefs and we teach in roughly similar circumstances, we can support and help and inspire each other and our students. So I have three examples, particular examples of how ASIANetwork has helped me and my students. In 2014, Chatham received an ASIANetwork Freeman Student Faculty Fellows Grant that funded a 3-week research project for 6 students and 2 faculty who conducted intensive interviews with a dozen Taiwanese women entrepreneurs running their own businesses. After we returned to campus, with the help and support of the Arts, Design, and Communication Department here at Chatham, we produced a small book. Here it is, okay, that serves as a permanent record of our shared learning and conclusions. The students, I have a picture of the students who went on that trip, okay? This is, this is all of us along with some of the young Taiwanese entrepreneurs that we interviewed. These students have all gone on to graduate school and careers in a range of fields. And I would never say that Asian studies has to be the center of every American's work life. But because these students had this experience, they had a short, deep program that really added depth and perspective to all those further studies and work tasks. Okay, so secondly, just this year, a Chatham senior, Ashby Kirkpatrick, won an ASIANetwork prize for a research essay on the Chinese writer Eileen Chang. And he wrote this essay as part of his capstone project in international studies and cultural studies. Getting national recognition of this sort is invaluable, not only for him, but for his advisor. That's me, because it says he's accomplished something really significant and is on a path to continued success. So thirdly, it's through ASIANetwork that I met my own project partner, Dr. Jia Jiang of Trinity University in San Antonio. She and I have been working together intensively for several years to produce a new set of translations of Eileen Chang's stories and essays, which will be published next spring. We've also become partners on many projects that have arisen while working on this central task. We are the co-advisors of the AAPI Studies Initiative at ASIANetwork. And then separately, but very connectedly, we recently set up an online conversation on the importance of language learning. Sorry, we do AAPI, but also language learning in liberal arts education. So when you find someone with whom you share many interests and you have complementary, that is overlapping but not identical strengths, then you can form a really effective partnership. ASIANetwork is the perfect place to create partnerships of this sort, and not just for faculty. The students who present their work at in our annual conference also join a community that has the potential for this same sort of partnership and group formation. And next spring, the ASIANetwork conference is going to be at Trinity University, where Dr. Jia Jiang is, of course, central to these efforts. What does a school like Chatham or any of the other liberal arts colleges and universities across the country, what do they need to have a successful Asian Studies AAPI program, and what does it look like? The first thing I want to say is that although we would love at some level to have lots of programs that have majors in this area, because our institutions care a lot about the number of students enrolled in majors, I want to argue that the important thing is to spread out wide as well as deep, and to integrate conversations about Asian topics and AAPI, identity, culture, and history into every facet of university programming. So, of course, that includes sustainability, that includes business, that includes arts, that includes history, it includes interior design. So when I teach a course in Asian studies or in AAPI studies, I get students from every possible major at Chatham. This is sciences, interior architecture, all of them. And I encourage them to look for ways to connect their major field of interest to things that are happening in Asia today or in the past, or in the case of an AAPI course, we talk a lot about the ways that AAPI figures are generally underrepresented in American history. So I'll just riffing here. I'll remember we had an amazing project last spring by a history major who wanted to talk about why AAPI sports figures are underrepresented in American media. And this is just an example to show that that bringing Asian and AAPI topics into cultural conversations across campus is, to my mind, the most important goal of any Asian studies program. And so even if we have relatively small curricular footprint, which is the case at Chatham, I regularly say half of me is our Asian studies program because the other half of me does other things. But even though we only have a little bit of dedicated faculty time, the important thing is to be able to show our students in many different dimensions that Asia is part of our world and that AAPI is part of America. All right, at Chatham, the two most prominent parts of our Asian and AAPI work are, first of all, an amazing student organization called the Asian Students Association. I have watched the evolution of this interest area among students for more than a decade. And in the last few years, it has really caught fire. And I am not the formal advisor. I tell them I'm your best fan, but I'm in the second row. And so there are other individuals who are taking the lead and being the faces in front of the camera for Asian Students Association. But they have done amazing work in the last few years, building campus events, building awareness, building diversity initiatives, and they've been recognized regularly in our student award ceremonies at the end of each year. The other curricular part that we do is the Asian Studies certificate program, for which I am the advisor. This is an 18 credit program, so it's similar to a minor, and it has three components. There's coursework. The key course we have is called East Asian Studies, and I teach that course every spring. And then we have some more specialized courses at the 200 or 300 level that deal with different Asian topics as I'm able to offer them. I'm always excited if other faculty want to offer courses that we can use in that area. Then we have a language requirement, and we offer Chinese and Japanese language. And then the certificate both requires asterisk, unless it's pandemic times and we have to make exceptions, but will both require and support study abroad. So we really would like to see our students using their certificate program as a partial form of funding to give them a little extra help towards getting to an Asian location and spending at least 5 weeks. That would be my minimum expectation, right? At least 4 or 5 weeks in a program in Asia, earning at least 6 credits so that they can have some real lived experience. And most of our students have gone to Taiwan or Japan or South Korea. We have had students go to China, and we have had students do internships in Southeast Asia.